Welcome to River City Media's AEW All Out preview. Now, we've been doing this since Tuesday. We kept putting it off. We've been getting information, and some of this stuff has been changing up till tonight. Howie Chaney, along with Randall Cunningham. For the next hour, we'll preview Sunday night's AEW pay-per-view All Out. Unlike the WWE, only 4 times a year the AEW come to you in a pay-per-view format. So it's really super special, Howie, when AEW does do a pay-per-view.
It is. They, like I said, they do it every quarter, every 3 months, for a year. But they also, on Wednesday nights, instead of having just a regular Dynamite, they will rename some of their shows. But they actually put on great pay-per-views. So it's well worth the money to spend to watch it.
And every pay-per-view they've ever put on, they have been some kind of surprise, some kind of something happened. And I expect that we're going to speculate on what that surprise could be throughout this show. But I fully expect somewhere along the way for us to see somebody that we've never seen in AEW before. Do you have a feeling that, I'm not asking for a name, somewhere during this show will you throw out a name that, hey, he may show up here or she may show up here?
I'm going to say we're going to throw out multiple names of people.
Multiple names.
Not just
okay,
one,
fair
not
enough.
just two, and not just 3. I think there could be quite a few that's never been in AEW that could show up on this all-out pay-per-view.
All right, let's get into it. First of all, Wednesday night, we saw the debut or re-debut, the return of the Queen Slayer. So in honor of a healthy Anna J, there you go. I'm wearing your merch. We also want to dedicate this show to the untimely death of Shannon Sperle, Daphne Unger, who passed away Wednesday under some horrible circumstances. So this show is dedicated to her memory. She was she was before her time, really, Howie. In WCW, of course, she was the Scream Queen with Crowbar and David
Right.
Flair. Really, really a character, a strong woman character before maybe strong women characters was in wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. She'd be a star right now. If she was in it right now, she would be the ultimate star because of her get up and her gimmick and how in the world she could scream like she used to. I'll never know. I mean, she could
Fill arena.
Yes, absolutely. She would. Most people raise the roof by doing different things, but she would crack a window by screaming so loud and so high pitched as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's things we can learn in her passing. If you need help, there's plenty of places to reach out to help. So again, we'll not end on, we don't want to bring it down too much, but you lose someone in tragic circumstances. Of course, you want to make light of it, and there's always hope, folks. So one thing we will start with, but we'll bring it back up again. Andrade and Pac has been postponed to an episode of Rampage in the future due to COVID protocol transportation with Pac coming in from Europe. I was looking forward to this match, Howie.
Yeah, it was going to be a real good match, I feel like. And like I said, the travel restrictions and everything that Pac's having to deal with to get back over here, it puts a damper on the All Out. But hey, the card that we got in front of us here, it's kind of like an all-star who's who matches one after another. So it may be a good thing for it to be pushed over to a Rampage to maybe help the numbers on the TV side.
Or could it be something else that we'll talk about later? So with that match being canceled, moving to the main card from the pre-show is the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta with Jurassic Express. And we would We had been wondering where Jurassic Express would land at, because you can't have a pay-per-view without Jurassic Express, versus the HFO, the Hardy Family Office. Matt Hardy, Private Party, and H Hybrid 2. Kind of a strange get-together, but you had to get a lot of people into this match. A lot of your high-profile guys are there in Orange Cassidy and Jurassic Express. You've got to get them in the pay-per-view. And, we've not talked about it, but kudos to the king of reinvention, just like Jericho. Matt Hardy has reinvented himself again.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The Hardy family, it's at first I wasn't a big fan of it, but so far I've liked it. He's tweaked it a little bit, made it a lot better. Like you said, the Jurassic Park and Orange Cassidy being, you got to get them in there, especially Jungle Boy. I mean, he's the future. He's the franchise, him and MJF, but we'll get to MJF later on. But yeah, you got to get all your stars on the pay-per-view some way, form, or fashion, and this should be one heck of a match.
I like this match, and it's going to be. I think it was originally supposed to be the pre-show, so now it becomes part of the main card. You got to love anytime you have Jungle Boy, Jack Perry in a show. One of the fine young wrestlers, of course, Mark Quinn too. That there's going to be something special happen there. I look for this match to go 10, 15 minutes, give every guy a high spot, but in my prediction, I think I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy to pin Matt Hardy and end their feud. How about you?
You said everybody you talked about everybody getting a high spot and all this stuff in the match, going 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Everyone's going to be in the high spot in the first 5 minutes. They're not going to need 10 minutes. This is going to be one that you don't want to look away from the TV because people are going to be flying everywhere.
This is Jim Cornette's worst nightmare.
Absolutely. 100%. It will be. And, I wouldn't mind seeing the final, like you said, with freshly squeezed pinning Hardy and kind of putting the end of that feud.
Yeah, that feud's it's kind of ran its course. It's probably time to move on.
Freshly squeezed and Matt Hardy is kind of spoiled a little bit.
Yeah. So you're in agreement with me? We both think that the team of the best friends in Jurassic Express gets the win over the Hardy Family Office.
And I think maybe someone may possibly turn against Matt Hardy a little. We may have a crack in the family office there.
Interesting. All right, on to the Casino Women's Battle Royal, which I've heard people criticize the Casino Battle Royal in the past. I've heard them call it a knockoff of, a WWE event. We've heard it, kind of compared to some things the WWE does. And it's similar. 4 people enter the ring every 2 minutes. But, yeah, for lack of a better reason, it's AEW's version of a Royal Rumble. So the entries coming in first would be Nyla Rose. Well, I don't know if it's coming in this order, but I'm going to give you the 20 women we have confirmed. Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, Julia Hart, Ty Conte, Dynamite, but you say the D-I harder. Dynamite, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Sheeta, Sakura, Cargill, Kara Hogan, Aberdeen, Hurst, legit Layla Hurst, all 4'11" of her. Kaylee King, Rebel, Jamie Hayter, the Queen Killer herself, Anna Jay, and who I thought would be 21, Riho, already announced. So really? I thought 21 would be Anna Jay or Riho coming back off of injuries. With both of them announced, Who's 21?
Wow. We both know who we think it may be. But see, I've heard
So,
rumblings today that they could be two unknown women to get in that casino rumble there that they got going on. The two names are coming up, which one of them is obvious, Sonya Deville. We expect her, possibly her, not Sonya Deville, Ruby Wright. I'm sorry, Ruby Wright to
Ruby
be it.
Soho.
Well, Ruby Soho.
I know it takes a while.
Yeah. But the other name that's been popping up a lot in the last 24 hours has been Lana, which I'm not sure which name she will go by. But there's rumblings about her appearing.
CJ Perry is her real name, and I understand that's going to be her AEW name will be CJ Perry. I think we'll see CJ Perry, but I think we see her later in the card. So that is one of my surprises too. If you bring Ruby, the wrestler formerly known as Ruby Wright, to the Casino Battle Royal, you really can't let her win, can you, Howie? Because you immediately put her in the title picture and there's no build. I think it would make more logical sense if she is 21 to somehow put her out of the Casino Battle Royal and let the win go somewhere else that's a natural feud. I've also heard rumors that Ruby Wright will be their big splash in New York City, but I'm thinking that big splash in the New York City now may come in the form of an American Dragon. So I'm with you. I'm going to say 21 is the wrestler formerly known as Ruby Riott. So is that a big pop?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. One is Chicago. Me and you could get a big pop on this All Out because everybody's waiting on the one man that we'll talk about later on.
Drinking beer and eating brats all day.
So they're all going to be waiting for that one individual to come out. And so, like I said, me and you could come out there and we would probably get a pop just because they're anticipating that one main event guy to come out. But I think it's going to be the one Ruby Wright, or formerly known as Ruby Wright. I think it'll be her. I don't think she will get the win. They're notorious for these matches, especially with the men being number 21, not winning it, letting someone else actually win. I don't know if anyone with number 21 has came out, if it's if they've even won or not, and I don't think they have.
So if push comes to shove, we're sitting down eating some wings, having us a cold Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't even know where we come up with Diet Dr. Pepper at. I don't even drink it either. It's Diet Pepsi. Hey, Pepsi, you need to sponsor this podcast. Seriously, I'm your biggest fan. CM Punk, Pepsi Plunge, Randall Cunningham, Diet Pepsi Man. I'm going to throw an angle out at you, and I'm going to do some fantasy booking real fast, and I'm going to give you a couple of different winners. What if Rebel wins the Casino Battle Royal after what Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, said last week with, kind of sliding Rebel and saying, well, what if Jamie Hayter wins it? It stays here. That seems like a crowded little clique with Hayter, Rebel, and Dr. Britt in it. You get Rebel out, who is a full-time employee of AEW. A lot of people don't know. Behind the scenes, she is actually the hair and makeup person for AEW. That was her job. The on-screen came by accident with Dr. Britt.
No, you can't get. I mean, they're too hot right now. It's too good of a. I don't want to say gimmick, but it's too good of a thing going on right now to break them up this quick. Or I know it's not quick, but they're this quick as far as actually going out and touring, been out on the road, it's too quick for that to happen. I can see it happen if they've been on the road for 6 months. Yeah, I can see it happening then. But right now, I like your thinking, but I think it's a little bit too early for that to happen.
All right. The first AEW Women's Champion, Riho, turns all 98 pounds over and booed at most sites that AEW originally went to. I think she kind of won over people over time, Howie. To be honest, I really, when she first won the title, the second time we're going to use JC, but Jim Cornette said, wow, what a letdown. And I was with him. But she kind of won me over. She's been in America. I think she had COVID, became ill. She's missed several months, hadn't been seen on TV. What if Riho wins and goes on to challenge Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, for the AEW Women's Championship?
That would be interesting. And like you said, she has won people over, but she was kind of like a Roman Reigns type push on everybody. She didn't have time to kind of let the crowd get to know her and become one with her and like her. It was more like a push, like the WWE did with Roman Reigns. It don't matter if you like him or not; they were pushing them down your throat, making it. And then when both of them when both of them became kind of fan favorites, is when they quit shoving them down your throat.
Right.
And so Riho became a fan favorite. I'm looking at you're right. She lost the title and she wants it back. So I can actually see her actually winning this whole thing somehow.
One more. Actually, two more. Is it too early to put Jade Cargill, who is a horrible, not developed wrestler, but a very, very fine athlete? If you want to put the rocket ship on her, do you let her win and go and wrestle Dr. D.M.D, or do you give her more practically ring time? She's still training before you put that rocket ship on her, because there's nobody in AEW like Gerald Cargill. Jade Cargill, who's a former, college athlete, Olympic level athlete. Is it too early?
No, I mean I like that idea. Is she green? Possibly. We hadn't really saw her wrestle a whole lot.
They did put her in the big spot with Shaq, though.
They did, and so that could be a good future pay-per-view match with Jade Cargill against D.M.D. But I like your thinking on that right there, because she is a fine athlete. As far as she just looks so much bigger than everybody else, and that would be a great match, I think.
All right, here's my prediction, though. She lost on Dynamite last week, took a beat down, looked bad in doing it. AEW loves to throw us swerves like this. She is now a full-time AEW talent. She is very over, very popular. Probably the one person that could stand across the ring from Dr. Britt Baker and not be overshadowed. Is it time for Thunder Rosa to get her push in AEW?
It's possible. I mean, I like Thunder Rosa. She's a good one. But sitting here thinking about the lineup that you just said and all that stuff, Hikaru Shida hasn't had her rematch yet with Britt Baker after losing that title. Who's to say that she don't win it to get her rematch that way? Which I know they don't do the rematch. You don't get a guaranteed rematch like UB and all that stuff. But who's to say that they won't let her win to where? So that was one heck of a match when them two went at it. Riho,
Absolutely.
or not Riho, but Shida and D.M.D. So who knows that that could be the rematch.
Best women match ever in AEW.
Hikaru Shida against D.M.D.
Yes. All right. So we've been on this long enough. Time to pick you a winner, Mr. Cheney. The Howie Cheney. And by the way,
I'm going with the little 4'11" lady, because it's
Jim
gonna be hard to
Cornette.
hurt up on the top rope there.
All right, so you're going with Rio, huh?
No. The other one. I can't think of her name. I'll think of it
The
in a
one
minute. Go ahead.
flies. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The only problem is I can't. I don't. She would have to be the 21 because she's not one of the 20 announced.
I thought you announced her a while ago.
No. The Japanese contingent is Amy Sakura. She's the one that dresses like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, no.
Shahida and Riho.
She's not Japanese. She's an American
legit,
lady.
Layla Hirsch. Okay, sorry, I messed that up.
Yes.
Legit Layla Hirsch. Yeah, I love legit Layla Hirsch. By the way,
4'11". How you gonna get her over that top rope? How you gonna get 4'11" over that top rope?
She lost in pay-per-view the NWA title match. I
know. She's not going to win, but
I'm going with Thunder Rosa.
Right.
I think it's time for Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with her. You can't go wrong with her winning it. So I like that pick, Dave.
All right, into the main card was what was supposed to be the opening match. Is supposed to be Jon Moxley versus Tanahashi for the United States, the IWGP United States Championship. And New Japan is starting to work with AEW, but they're still they've not sent the top level guys over. They've sent some nice mid-tier, upper mid-tier guys over, but they really haven't sent the 4 or 5 superstars. They sent over Kojima to wrestle Moxley, a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, a former All Japan Triple Crown Champion. He is in his 50s. He is a notorious bad guy, tough guy, very physical wrestler, but you can't put him over Jon Moxley on an AEW pay-per-view, can you?
Absolutely not. Yeah, that's the bad thing about some of these bookings that they're doing. You kind of know who's going to win, but you still won't see the match. It's going to be a great match, but you know who's going to win because they're not going to let Jon Moxley go down. His record's like, 31, 30-2 since he's been in AEW. He's not going to lose to a New Japan wrestler. So
the other preview show I watched, not ours, and hey, there is other shows besides ours, but don't watch them. They said if this took place in Japan, Moxley loses to Kojima, but in the United States, there's no way that Moxley-Kojima could end any other way but Moxley. But they put it on the Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody level of violence. Like they said, this may be one of the more violent matches that the American fans have seen as far as hard hitting, in your face, so I'm really excited. I don't think it goes more than 10 minutes, but I think we're going to see a bunch of just old school, snug, in your face wrestling.
Hey, you're in Chicago. What more would you want out of that match?
Nothing. In the end, I'm going to go with Jon Moxley to get the win via pinfall.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. Jon Moxley pinfall.
All right. The next match, I don't think this next match is the one. I think it's the one that we can more say, there could be somebody. I really think this could end in a surprise. For his career, the Painmaker, the Demo God, the best in the world, best at what he does in the world. Y2J, Chris Jericho puts his career on the line against Maxwell Jacob Freeman. How we almost feel like Jericho may be saying goodbye. Do you think there's a way that this is it?
Yeah, after that promo he gave on Dynamite Wednesday night, talking about he started out at one place. He started out in Chicago. He got a possibility of ending in Chicago as well. Still on top, doing what he loves and very good at it as well. You could be correct. He may be saying goodbye because word has came out that Jim Ross is going to be leaving full-time broadcasting, and that's kind of what they're hoping Jericho will do, I feel like. So you could be right as far as Jericho could be saying goodbye to go to the color commentary booth.
Jericho would be absolutely a billion-dollar broadcaster. If you remember the 8-hour episodes that they done right at the start of COVID, when Tony Schiavone had just came in to be the lead announcer, and it was Tony Schiavone, and I think it may have been Alex Marvez still, and Excalibur. COVID hits. They get a few people to Atlanta, which Jericho lives in the Tampa area, so he drives up, and he's there. Phil and Vic, if you would quit texting me, it would just be worth $1 million for me right now. Not Phil Harris either. Jericho drives up and does 8 hours of TV in a row. I thought it was one of those month of programs with Schiavone and Jericho were as good announced as anything on TV today.
It kind of reminded me of back in the heyday when it was the Attitude Era announcers going on with Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. It was that good. It was that good back then. I agree with you 100% on
that. Phil, I love you, brother, but you're going on mute for the next hour. My buddy Phil Chaplin, a writer for drroto.com. I feel like that too. Then there's a part of me that says there's so much more that Jericho could do over the next year or two. I would like to see Jericho maybe form a tag team with Sammy Guevara and go for and win the AEW Tag Team Champions and then that be like his out,
That would be good. That'd be very, very good.
He is huge friends with MJF outside of the ring. If there's one of two people he's going to put over to end his career, it's going to be Sammy or MJF. I'm still not ready to predict that, though. I'm going to go Jericho gets the win, but we see a diminished role for Jericho over the next few months. And, hey, I think the inner circle is basically over once Jericho kind of becomes a little less. What about you?
I'm trying to figure out some way where Jericho still puts MJF over, but doesn't lose and still continue to wrestle somehow. I'm running through my head right now trying to figure out some way that happens. A double count out, double disqualification, something to that. It comes to a draw. How about that? It ends up a draw somehow.
Is Chris Jericho a wrestler on Wednesday night in AEW?
I don't know. I hope so. I enjoy watching them, but it's hard to. I don't know. There's got to be some type of swerve in there.
They do, and I've actually wondered if it was Sammy Guevara turning against Jericho and cost him in his career.
Could be.
All right, so that's truly one of the most interesting matches of this card. Up next, the Redeemer, who AEW struggled getting Miro over the first 3 months he's there. They finally took the 6'4" Bulgarian built tank and let him be a badass. And he's absolutely went from a bit player with the best man gimmick to now he's in it feels natural. I don't particularly love his little tagline, God's favorite wrestler, but it's good. Also, rumors that CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana in the WWE, Miro's real life wife, has signed with AEW. I do think she's with him Sunday, Howie. I 100% think that's one of the surprises. And, of course, the Mad King, Eddie Kingston, who's one of my favorite wrestlers there. But one thing about Kingston, he's going to give you all he's got. He's going to give you a great match. But he will do the do in the middle of the ring. And I feel like that's what he's going to do. Give you a physical, match. As physical as maybe Moxley and Kojima. And then at the end of it, Miro on some kind of swerve. Lana gets involved, something stupid. But goes over. Miro's got some more run in that TNT title. I do want to see Kingston with a title one day in AEW. I think that would be really neat. But not yet. I still think Miro and Lana, I really think they've done a great job with Miro over the last 3 months.
Yeah, when he first came in, they didn't know exactly what to do with him. And so they put feelers out to see which way would be the best to go with him. And this way right here has been the best. He, like you said, he's a Bulgarian tank just running over everybody, not asking no questions, just destroying them. And I'm like you. Yeah, I think CJ Perry / Lana will come out. She'll do some type of either distraction on Eddie Kingston or will actually maybe throw Miro something in the ring to help him win. But I feel like Miro will retain the TV title or TNT title. I'm sorry.
And don't you agree? Over the former AEW guy or the WWE guys that has came in, of course, I think Brody Lee before his untimely death was most over. I think Brody Lee was set up to be. No doubt, Brody Lee would have got a run with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Brody Lee is Miro the second over former WWE guy, or is it Christian Cage? We'll talk about a little later. Because Christian Cage is pretty over with management, but I feel like the fans, it may be Miro.
Yeah, it's probably Miro. Christian's, he's not as, I mean, he's over, but not like Miro is. He's like a, second tier star, I guess you would say.
It's like a Legends run. Miro feels like he's in the prime of his career.
Right.
All right, getting into the world title matches and the mains and co-mains and stuff. Inside a steel cage, maybe the longest raging feud in pro wrestling history. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, the EVPs, with Brandon Cutler versus the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero Menta, and Ray Phoenix with Alex. I can't say his name, so we'll just not say it. Inside the steel cage. Nobody said that. Yeah, I'm not trying it. Never mind. So I'm super, and I got to get my beard trim, Howie. It's getting out of control. You guys got to tell me when it does. I'm super hyped about this match. How about you?
I am. I'm sitting here looking at it on my monitor here, and it could be one of the longest matches of the night. There's so much that can be done with that steel cage, and you got those high flyers with the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers that love just jumping off of everything that they can, and it could be one of the, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but time wise, it could be one of the longest matches that there is. And
there's a lot of
I'm looking forward to
storytelling you
seeing.
can do inside that cage.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And regardless, yes, it's a steel cage and blah blah blah. But I feel like somebody's going to get in there that shouldn't be in there, somehow, way, form, or fashion.
So let me. So we saw our cage on Rampage Friday night. Very interesting cage. A lot of little strange areas in it, little steps and stuff. I do see they are very insistent that it's with Brandon Cutler, so I expect him to be involved. My big anticipation is, and I don't think that's the same steel cage we saw Cody and Wardlow in Atlanta. That looked like a more regular cage. I think somebody's coming off the top of that cage before the night's over with in some kind of crazy suplex or something. I think
Cody
cage,
came off of it in Atlanta.
Yeah. But he did the moonsault. I'm thinking it's two bodies. Jericho came off of it. It's going to be something crazy. I really think it's time for the Bucks to take the title off themselves. I don't think they're doing themselves no favor. They're really so. I don't know if the Bucks and Omega are getting good heat or bad heat at this point. Right. But they're hated. They're really hated. So I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the Lucha Brothers to win the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
I don't agree with that. I agree with your philosophy. It's time for them to lose the belts, but I don't think it's to the Lucha Brothers. So I think it needs to be to somebody else. I don't know who at the moment, but I feel like this will be the last pay-per-view that they win and walk out with titles. I think they'll win this one and walk out with the titles, but I think this will be the last one. The next pay-per-view, I feel like they will lose to somebody. Just don't know who yet. Could it go back to the Moxley and Eddie Kingston? Could they tag back up and possibly take it from them?
Right. It's time for the tag team belts to move around some, though. Let's just go there.
Right.
So we split on this one. All right, the next one. Dr. Britt, D.M.D. versus, with Rebel, versus Kris Statlander. Now, let me stop there and say, I love the Queen Slayer, but the Queen Slayer is not the greatest wrestler in the world. Kris Statlander is a very, very good wrestler. Britt Baker is a very good wrestler. This could be a good match.
Yeah, Kris Statlander reminds me of a Charlotte Flair type of the things that she can do and the way she carries herself and performs inside the ring. But yeah, it says it's going to be with Rebel / Reba, but will Rebel / Reba be able to make it after the Casino Battle Royal?
Yeah, or it could be with Jamie Hayter. I mean, or both.
Right.
And I fully expect Kris Statlander to come out with Orange Cassidy just to get some more pop. This one, I don't think there's any way you take the belt off of Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. yet.
No. Unless they're just stupid. I mean, she is too hot. She's too well liked. She is the hottest thing. Well, let me rephrase this. Before CM Punk came in, she was the hottest thing in AEW for the last 2 months, and it's be crazy to take that belt off of her right now because she is getting pops on top of pops, more than anybody else. Well, more than Mr. Punk.
Well, yeah, Punk put her over in the way to treat me like a girl, like the Britt Baker welcome. So we both agree Britt Baker wins this match, but it's a good match, right?
Yes. It'll be a great match. I feel like it'll be a great match, and D.M.D will win.
All right. So before we get to the main and co-main, I have an interesting little bit about Andrade. He received a text today, or sent a text that just said All Out, Andrade versus ? All Out. Nothing's scheduled, nothing, out there. Could we get Andrade versus somebody we don't expect? Could we get Andrade versus Malachi Black?
I don't know. It's too early for that, I feel like, because Andrade, he hasn't had enough matches and he's not really over yet. But there'll be a match. But Malachi Black, if he wrestles somebody, it's got to be somebody that is involved with Cody Rhodes because of that feud going on. So, or that future feud going on. So I figure if Malachi Black appears on there, it's going to be against somebody that Cody Rhodes respects and likes. And so I'm not sure if Malachi will actually be on this pay-per-view or not.
I'm going to read you a tweet from another AEW superstar. Hey, one guy's out, but you're still here. You know who to call if you want to steal the show. # All Out. Who do you think sent Andrade that tweet?
I have no idea.
Sammy Guevara.
Oh,
How would you like to see Sammy Guevara versus Andrade just as a card filler in the middle of the somehow they make it. And we do have Rampage here at 10 o'clock, so
right. Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be an interesting match right there if that takes place.
Two more names to throw at you. What if Andrade comes to the ring and says there's nobody to face him, and all of a sudden you hear Adam Cole, baby, on the speaker? Would that be a huge pop?
That would be a good size pop right there. But are you going to bring in that many new people in one pay-per-view?
And the obvious one that people have kicked around, I don't think you blow his appearance here unless it's in the main event. The American Dragon, Bryan Daniels. Wrestler formerly known as Bryan Danielson. Or what was he in WWE? Bryan Danielson in WWE.
No,
see, I'm a Ring of Honor guy. He's still Daniel
Bryan in WWE. Bryan in WWE. Bryan Danielson.
He's Bryan Daniels is his real name. The American Dragon.
Yeah, word just came out that he's probably going to be there. So that's a possibility. I mean, but I'm also hearing that they may be saving him for the New York City Arthur Ashe tour type
That's
deal.
what I think.
So if they do bring anybody out, it could be Adam Cole because would it be a big pop? Yeah. Would it be a big pop? Yeah, it'd be a big pop, but not like a Bryan Danielson type pop.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think at 10 o'clock tonight, we might see something between Andrade and Sammy Guevara set up. And I think Tony Khan's a little more, he has plans and other plans. I think this little Twitter battle that went on the last 23 hours, we might see Guevara versus Andrade. All right. To the main events, the co-main and the main.
You forgot one match. Paul Wight versus QT
I
Marshall.
got it. It's in the co-mains and mains. I know it's
really?
back away, but I think it's in my head. It's
think,
big enough. I kind of saved it to the end.
oh, my fault.
I
My
still
fault.
got you.
I didn't think it would be. I'm sorry. My fault. I didn't think it would be.
It's not, but in my head, I was saving it because I figured we wanted to talk about it a little more. So on to the final 3 matches that we've got left. You said it already. The returning Big Show, formerly known as Big Show, Paul Wight versus QT Marshall with the Factory, Aaron Sovolo, Nick Camarada. I don't know what order it comes in, but I got to think the Big Show wrestling again. I mean, how many wrestlers are more over than the Big Show has been? In this era, the Undertaker for as long. I mean, the Austins, the Rocks, all those guys came and went. Taker, Triple H, Big Show, those guys, they just stayed with it, right?
Yeah, they have, but I see where you're getting at, and I don't disagree with you, but I'm thinking pop after pop after pop there toward the end of the show. I figured it would be kind of a mid-card type deal too.
It is. It's scheduled to come on. It's scheduled to come on 4th. I just moved it.
Okay. All right. So what I'm seeing and what you're seeing is, I guess it's in the order there. Okay. You know, like I said, he's going to get a pop. I mean, I saw him in Huntsville when he was in WCW. I saw him jump over the top rope and take off running after somebody. I can't remember who it was. It was also the night that Ric Flair filibustered for about 20 minutes there, and they told him to wrap up and go to a commercial, but he wouldn't do it. But anyway, now somebody else we may see this weekend is Ric Flair. You never know. But anyway, it's going to be interesting.
Ric Flair will be there at some point, but not now. I don't think it's the time.
Right.
Is there any way they are desperately trying to get the Factory and QT Marshall over? If there's one place for a screw job in this card, it's right here.
Yeah, after what we saw. I'm sorry, but after what we saw on Dynamite the other night with the Gun Club, I'm not really sure what's going on there. I'm totally confused.
I'm completely confused. And they're desperately trying to get AEW is missing. To me, they've got great heels, but they don't have that really mid-card heel everybody just hates because they hate him. You know, almost like Greg the Hammer Valentine kind of, you know, the guy you put on 4th from the top. This Nick Camarado looks like Bruiser Brody. Aaron Sovolo is Bailey's real life boyfriend, husband, or something.
Right.
If there's people to get over, it's got to be those guys, don't you think?
Yeah, you think so? Since QT Marshall's working behind the scenes and has a lot of say there, that you'd want to hook up with them and with him to do all that. But listen here has just kind of got me totally confused because of
I have no.
QT Marshall and his people. Is Paul Wight going to bring somebody out with him? Is somebody special, a surprise going to show up and have his back or part of his back? He's too big to have the whole back, but is somebody going to come out and have his back, or are we going to see multiple surprises?
Is this where Cody Rhodes could stick his nose in for a second and get his pop?
Could be. Absolutely. Didn't even think about that, but you could be right. Could be where Cody Rhodes sticks his nose in, and then when he sticks it in, here comes Malachi Black.
Yeah, it could turn into a hullabaloo right here. I'm going to call this one somehow, some way, QT Marshall wins this match.
So you're going to let Paul Wight lose his first match at AEW?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It may be he loses by disqualification. It may be that it may be a double disqualification. It may be he pins Marshall and then they beat the living crap out of him. Right. Somehow QT leaves with heat on him. So I just don't know how.
This is going to be interesting because I'm totally confused with everybody that's involved in this whole thing and with more people that could be involved there later on.
I really think we may see this, even though it's listed as fourth, we may see. I still think Jericho could move down the card, and I still think Paul, the Big Show, could move down the card, and it made more sense to me. But I'm going to – are you picking the Big Show? Artist formerly known as Big Show.
No more BS. I'm picking no more BS.
I'm picking – I can't even believe I'm saying it. I'm picking Paul Wight, too. I can't do it. But somehow they're going to get heat back on QT Marshall.
Right.
All right. And also, if they do it in this order, this is one of the few times I'll disagree with Tony Khan. But what's listed next, I believe, should be the last match of the night. CM Punk versus Darby Allin with no Sting in Chicago. They are going to tear that place apart.
That's going to be your main event there. I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at. And I think, no, there's no way CM Punk can't be the main event in Chicago. If in its first match. If it was somewhere else, totally different story. Chicago, after the pop he got when he first appeared, 2 weeks ago on Rampage, there's no way that he's not going to be the main event.
To me, if Omega and Cage goes out there and tries to follow Punk and Allin, they're liable to find a very dead crowd.
No, they're going to find a very empty arena because everybody will leave after they see CM Punk. Because they know they got ice cream waiting for them when they walk out the door.
All right, the next question. Anyway, on the face of this earth, that they don't have a great match.
Oh, no. I thought you was going to ask me any way that CM Punk loses this.
I was, but I saw you shaking your head, so I changed it up.
But I still say no to that. I mean, I'm not going to say they could steal the show because this is the show. And they're just going to make it so much better there at the end. I feel like it's my event. It's going to be such a great show that it'll just top the night off the way it needs to be.
Any worry about CM Punk not being in the ring for 7 years?
We both know that's not true. We both know he's been in there training and all that. Yeah, it's a little different, but we both know he's been in the ring. It's not like he's just coming straight off the streets and not doing nothing. I'm going to say it's going to start off slow. I will say it will start off slow. I think the nerves will be to him a little bit with the expectation of being in his hometown and such a big pop. But then I think after the first couple of minutes there, it's just going to settle down and be one of the best matches AEW possibly has ever had.
Over and under 6 near falls.
With Darby Allin, it's going to be over.
There's going to be 1,000 near falls. If you let Darby Allin beat CM Punk in Chicago, they're going to tear the building apart. So Punk wins. Somehow the next opponent of Punk charges the ring. Punk, Darby Allin, Sting. They build the next feud at the end of this match. Whoever it's going to be, we see it at the end of this match. It's just not a feel good go home. But it's a feel good with everybody. And Darby Allin gets his. Where were you when the lights went out? When Darby Allin gets his thunder back. So feel good night. Punk beats Allin. Next feud gets set up. Who do you want that next feud to be against?
That's what I'm sitting here trying to figure that out. I hadn't really thought ahead of it because I'm just looking too forward to seeing this match.
I think this is the spot we get an appearance from Malachi Black.
You think so?
I think that we get an appearance from Malachi Black here.
That could be a great match. That could be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Finally, for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, not the TNA title, which I find weird. The TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Christian Cage, who now, I think he's a 9-time world champion. When you start adding up that he's been an NWA champion, he's been TNA champion, he's been WWE champion, he's been, I don't even know what they call the big one, the world champion that they got from WCW, versus the best bout machine. Randall's was screaming 5 years ago, have you seen Kenny Omega? Now, legit, let's start there. When did you hear me start talking about Kenny Omega? It's been a long time.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You would watch the New Japan wrestling and say, you got to watch Kenny Omega. When's he going to come?
I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Kenny Omega.
Right.
Christian's had a nice story. They have plenty of heat. Christian has plenty of steam that they can still accomplish with Christian what they want to. He can lose this battle, slide over, go to a feud with Andrade, go to a feud with Miro. I tell you something, I'd like to see Christian Cage form a tag team with someone. But I don't think this is the place you take the belt off of CM Punk. Do you? Take the belt off of Kenny Omega.
Right. Now, I was curious about why they didn't make it title versus title.
Yeah.
With Christian have the TNA title and all that stuff. How ironic would it be? You're talking you like Christian in a tag team. How ironic would it be if you saw Christian and Matt Hardy tag up?
That would be absolutely wonderful.
After all those battles they had against each other, now all of a sudden they're on the same team. But,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, you can't take the title off of Omega right here. I'm not going to say it's too soon, but you can't I feel like Christian is, like we talked about earlier, he's not that top star. He's not the one. He's not over like some of these other guys are. So I don't feel like you can take the title off of him. You got to, it's got to be someone else. And I think it's going to be the feud. Could it be that, that next feud could be with CM Punk to where CM Punk against Omega for the title and Punk wins the title?
And Christian Cage is the TNA World Champion, and he'll be he'll defend that for a while. That's a good story. Christian left the WWE and kind of bet on himself and went to TNA and made a name for himself and came back and won the WWE Championship after he went to TNA. Also, he has a win over Kenny Omega. The people I can think of that have wins over Omega is Moxley, Christian Cage, and Jericho. That's it. So it's not like you're going to kill him by letting him wrestle Cage for 45 or wrestle Omega for 45 minutes and lose. So, and plus there'll probably be a swerve in it. All right, last subject. This has been a fast hour, man. I really love this. And we will do these forever AEW pay-per-view. You and I are not WWE guys. We may do one for WrestleMania, though, or SummerSlam. There's a couple of times a year I try to watch WWE. WrestleMania is still WrestleMania. I still love watching WrestleMania.
Granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, we'll definitely have one of these for WrestleMania, but I don't know. There's no way we're going to do 13 of them, one a month for the next 13 months. This is not going to happen. All right. In likelihood of appearance, give me your top 3 surprises, and start at the bottom and finish with most likely. So, and you can go past 3 if you want to, you know. Or do you want me to go first while you think a minute?
No, it's going to be C.J. Perry / Lana. It'll be Ruby Riott, and then I'm going to say Adam Cole.
Baby. Is C.J. Perry the most likely, then Ruby Riott, then Adam?
No.
Adam Cole's most likely. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to list C.J. Perry because I think it's a done deal. I think she's there. I'm not even know if I'm surprised anymore. I guess you are, but I'm going to start with number 3, Bryan Danielson. I don't think this is the spot, but I do think he's already under contract to the AEW. Number 2, Ruby Riott. I mean, number 2, I'm not going to go, not yet. Number 2, I will go Ruby Riott, a.k.a. Ruby Soho. I think they could easily use this for her launching pad. I think this could be a place where she could come in and you set up her feud in the Battle Royal. You know, you set up somehow this is going to happen. So I'm going to go with somebody we haven't talked about just a little bit. Somehow shows up, even if it is to wave at the crowd or give us a woo. I somehow think Ric Flair makes it on the camera at All Out in some kind of role. I don't know if it's a wrestling role. I don't know if he's there as a spectator. But Flair the other night said, I'm flying to have dinner with Tony Khan on his Twitter or on his Instagram. That to me was a pretty good hint that and I think maybe a one-off at this point, but I do think somehow, do you remember when they had Bret Hart come out with the World Championship? And before, I really think you may see Flair in a role like that before the Cage Omega match. I don't think you blow the Daniel Bryan thing until you can just blow it off the roof, home run it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not going to use Adam Cole quite yet either. I've been hearing some rumors that they might want to build a stable around Adam Cole. And that sure sounds like a new 4 Horsemen. He cannot appear, but there is rumors out there that Bray Wyatt is in negotiations, but it's still under his 90-day compete. So you can forget that one. Is there anybody else out there that could show up that would move the needle for you?
No. The only one that might get maybe a small pop might be Braun Strowman, but I think he's still under his. No, he's out from underneath the 90-day because he wrestled last weekend against someone somewhere. I just don't remember where it's at, but I remember hearing about it. That might be the only one that could come in that could.
He's wrestling EC3 somewhere. EC3 right. Versus Braun Strowman opponent. Yeah, I think that one.
There's going to be. It wouldn't move the needle, but it would be something new, something different.
Also, just throw this thought in your head. Can you foreshadow the arrival of Bray Wyatt without having Bray Wyatt there? Arena go black, lights go off, spooky something. I wouldn't doubt we get a foreshadowing if they really think Bray Wyatt's coming of Bray Wyatt. So, anyway, it's been a great show. I've enjoyed it. I'm really looking for this pay-per-view. I think this is a great one. I really am a little. I really wanted the main event to be. Oh, we didn't even talk about, could Adam Page show up?
No.
I really want out. That said, I really wanted the main event to be Adam Page and Kenny Omega. But you get it right. You know, Adam Page is gone right now. Being a dad is more important. But you got it right by getting Kris and Cage in there. And I really think their plan was for this to be, I think they started to build towards this. But Adam Page, it was a bad time. I mean, his wife's very pregnant. And I think when you build it with Adam Page, you can't let Adam Page lose. He has to win, or you're going to kill his character. So you couldn't bring this to All Out and let this be another failure for Adam Page, because his career is, to this point, has been, he's failed at every turn, you know? So when he finally gets in the ring and that big belt's on the line, he has to win it. So
he during this pandemic, he was right below Brett Baker as far as pop-wise, most popular and all that, you know. And finally getting out on the road, he would probably been the second pop between Brett Baker. And, you know, that could be, could we see, you know, you said it and I said no, but could he come out and after the match and kind of do something, not really attack Kenny Omega, but kind of point at him and let him know that, hey, I'm watching you. I'm here.
drive that freaking horse down to the ring.
I heard somebody talking about one time before they had somebody that they wanted to ride a horse, but said they can't do it because the concrete's too slick for the horse to walk on.
His horse did die. That horse that he made an appearance in Las Vegas on, it died. So it's going to be a different horse. So, all right, for this special Friday night edition of Off the Record with Randall and Howie Chaney, it's been a great night. We appreciate it, everybody. We'll be back Tuesday, and the tentative plan Tuesday is to discuss the Week 1 NFL schedule. I'm excited about that, Howie.
Football season.
We have
is here
NFL
on
football
us.
next 6 days from now. We have NFL football.
6 days sooner than that is. No, 6 days, Thursday night. Absolutely. Absolutely right.
For the
Hey,
Queen
how about
Slayer,
your big orange? What about your big orange last night with the win?
I wished I was on old Rocky Top. All right, that's all you got. It's a bad football team, but they looked impressive. We still got some roads to hold, and I'm happy. So, for Howie, for Randall, for everybody at River City Media, I almost forgot the name of my own freaking company. River City Media, thank you and good night.